Zoznamujeme sa s finalistami Európskej ceny za architektúru. Sledujete Dni architektúry a dizajnu, Dni architektúry a filmu. Aj vy, ktorí ste na nádvorí Primaciálneho paláca, aj teda s malým reštartom, ale vlastne úplne to sedí, lebo reštart je práve slogan tohto ročníka Dni architektúry a dizajnu. Vraciame sa po 2 rokoch online vysielania. Aj takto za vami, aj keď teda nachádzame sa práve v tom momente, kedy využívame práve tú možnosť spájať sa online s celým svetom, tak ako sme to urobili aj v prípade Lakol, tak to urobíme aj v prípade ďalšieho architektonického štúdia, ktoré by sme teraz chceli osloviť. Je to štúdio, ktoré sa zameriava na hľadanie nových modelov pre sociálnu, environmentálnu a ekonomickú udržateľnosť. Toto štúdio tvorí trojica architektiek a na Dňoch architektúry a dizajnu predstavia projekt sociálneho, bývania a komunitnej farmy v Paríži na okraji bývalej železnice, ktorý im práve priniesol prestížny postup medzi finalistov aktuálneho ročníka EU Mies Award. Toto združenie Grand Huit prepája profesie architektov, urbanistov a krajinných architektov a skúma inovatívne možnosti bývania v meste s cieľom rozšíriť architektonické úlohy o témy, ako je opätovné použitie stavebných materiálov, obehové hospodárstvo, vytváranie pracovných miest a integrácia sociálne znevýhodnených obyvateľov. Ale už viac a podrobnejšie bude hovoriť jedna z architektiek, ktoré v tomto štúdiu pracujú, ktoré toto štúdio tvoria. Now we are connected with Grand Huit, with Clara Simay. Clara, can you hear me clearly? Good evening.
Good evening.
How has your day been?
I'm fine. I'm very, very happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you for joining us, and we are looking forward to hearing your talk. And now we are listening, Clara. Clara, Grand Huit.
Good evening. Today I'm gonna talk about this project, the Ferme du Rail, and this will illustrate the approach through a collective live experience. It's a 6-year live project, which has been open to the public since 2019, but has been in development since 2014. The Ferme du Rail is a neighborhood solidarity location where market gardening techniques are employed to valorize the collected organic waste. The project offers an urban low-tech agriculture model which has its roots in the local ecosystem. I'm gonna share with you, sorry, just a minute. So it is located on the edge of the Petite Ceinture, which is an obsolete railway track that encloses Paris. And it offers 5 students and 15 persons in need accommodations. There is also public open restaurant and agricultural work locations such as a productive greenhouse, a mushroom growing cave, and everywhere permaculture gardens, including facades, balconies, and rooftops. 2 buildings open their arms to the visitors and set up around a large inner city productive market garden. Beyond this central garden, there is the first building, which is a 3-story timber block, housing for the garden's urban farmers and students. And to its left, the second building begins begins with the first floor for dedicated to the activity, the market gardening place, and garage and garden maintenance, machinery storage. On the floor above there is the restaurants and its terrace that are linked to the former way, which is today a promenade. And at the top level of this building, there is the greenhouse. The buildings and the gardens are the eco-design's fruits of shared governance between a large consortium of stakeholders, operators, architects, landscapers, and project managers, social environment enterprise, housing associations, tasked with creating jobs and supporting inclusion. The social agency stakeholders introduced and supported the homeless involved both before and once they eventually moved into the housing block during the 5 years of their development. An active neighborhood consultation were organized that allows complete residence integration to the adventure. During the design and construction period, the 3 pillars of a sustainable development were aimed at ecological, economy, and social. The construction time was an opportunity to extend the project educational and social vocation by training people experiencing exclusion. The buildings were designed as eco-materials implement learning ground, mainly wooden structure and straw installation. The circular economy was also illustrated by the reused materials through many experimentation, such as recycled textile insulation, reclaimed bathroom tiles, obsolete stones, walls in the garden, wooden window frame transformed into planters and parquet floor. The keywords here are frugality, low-tech devices, but also robustness due to the collective and social purpose of the place. Here you can see the straw insulation, the techniques used by the social enterprise, and the collect also of the chestnut tree to create the facades. The moment of real social intensity on the construction field. It was really special from the start, as it featured the inclusion of environmental conscious construction contractors using biosourced materials to be coherent with the farming activity. For example, we use the bundles of straw that I show you because they are very efficient for the insulation, adapted to a low-skilled workforce. And since there is a lot of it in the surrounding Paris, we could manage to reduce transportation pollution. Our metropolis is long since lost the links that connected it to the countryside, collecting the materials directly from the farmer's fields, paying him an income without any intermediary is also a commitment to rebuild these bonds, to rebuild the urban metabolism, and to recreate territorial solidarity. Mainly, the project defends a model of sustainable and social economy linked to the interdependence between the project actors and the inhabitants. It is based on each person's skills, led to reinforce each other for the neighborhood benefits. The stakeholders are not the foremost experts in their field, but they have the fine knowledge for their neighborhood, its resources, and its real issues. So these skills are really useful to the project here and now. It is the local anchoring that allowed the project to be born despite many obstacles and a very long gestation period. The farm activities are organized into local and territorial exchange networks. The farmers offers the district inhabitants a set of services, collection and treatment of local organic waste or unsold goods, market gardening, a small plant market, as well as maintenance service for green spaces in the private gardens. It is also a place of awareness that responds to the urgent needs of meeting and discussions around nature in the city and alternative food system. It develops a short circuit market gardening activities which allow the training to its residents. It revolves around a community of persons on an integration path and horticulture students. These students live here for a year or two, running agricultural experimentations alongside the other residents. In addition to housing and working spaces, there is also the restaurant adjacent to the unit livings. Of course, a part of the food comes directly from the farm gardens, and not only does it function as a canteen for those who live and work here, but it is also open to the public at affordable prices. In terms of production, the farming principles is primarily permacultural, integrating agroforestry, aquaponic techniques, and sack culture in the on the rooftops and balconies. Over a total of 1,700 square meters of cultivated surfaces on a 1,300 square meters patch of land. Given the presence of city pollution, the farm does not claim the food is completely organic, though no chemical additives are used. A phytofiltration basin treats all rainwater runoff from the two buildings into an underground tank until needed for the garden. Sitting high above the second building, yet fully integrated into the garden, is the unheated greenhouse, which allowed the variation of the production, the preparation of the seedlings, and the protection of the most delicate fruits. Together, the produce contributes about a third of ingredients needed for the restaurants. Completing the ecosystem, the compost sediment area is housed close to the entrance tunnel to accommodate the voluntary contribution of waste of organic waste by local residents. By putting together many of the topics related to environmental and social awareness in the urban context, Ferme du Rail accompanies the homeless people through a path that can give them the chance to have a stable jobs. These people collect organic waste from about 30 restaurants in the area by bicycle, and they also composted at the farm. Compost was also necessary here because the soil in the area, as well as many urban plots, was polluted. At the original site was a neighborhood garage that spilled hydrocarbons into the ground. Since this patch of land was not suitable for agriculture, we have to level the most polluted volumes in isolating the ground underneath and lay a substrate using compost mixed with the few unpolluted land of the site. This circular process was activated even before starting work, using wastes from the city to create a rich and fertile soil. With the farm ecosystem, we intend to demonstrate that we can minimize energy, food, and financial resources needs, as well as the carbon footprint, the carbon impact, by implementing a local circular economy. The project's protagonists are very concerned about the gentrification process of our metropolis. So they are trying to keep services as affordable as possible, and while giving an added value to all their activities. The social operator in charge generates revenues by selling services for the maintenance of gardens in the district, selling vegetables to the restaurants and plants to the inhabitants, collecting waste organic and composting produce. We all know that a city is, in fact, a living entity which not only consumes resources, it does not produce, but it also gets rid of its waste by disposing of it outside its system. In this context of the materialistic throwaway economy we all live in, construction and development hold a massive responsibility, maybe greater than most other domains of human activity. We are called to reevaluate and rethinking the way this system metabolizes its resources and to find our way out to the prevalent current linear process of extracting, consuming, and throwing away. Nowadays, circular economy provides us with the necessary shift toward rethinking and reimagining our level of urban resilience. However, the issue is that circular economy approaches the problem from an exclusively materialistic perspective, a situation which mainly leads to industrial solutions in recycling without territorial awareness. Even though these practices are necessary and inevitable, their only purpose remains to reduce carbon footprint. Meanwhile, the city of the Anthropocene still produces massive social inequality, mainly on very distant territories. And we, actors of the act of building, can no longer look away from this tragedy. If we look further into the way that urban metabolism of modern city centers work, we can witness how a city does not only throw away used resources, but also people. The architectural community is taking on an increasingly more active role regarding sustainability issues, and it also accepts its responsibility to specify better ways to build with more durability in the future. This is mainly through its response toward climate change, while putting socio-economic, socio-political issues on the back burner. Our starting point is to imagine how those who are left out of our cities can, through labor, rebuild themselves and build living spaces using discarded materials. Through the experience of the Ferme du Rail, we have wanted to radicalize our reuse and biosourced material approach. These practices have to overcome a lot of preconceived ideas, fears, and obstacles such as insurance and logistic issues. After having experimented with them for years, we can now confirm that the principal barrier is first of all ideological. However, we believe that the right way to overcome this fear is to re-establish a trusting relationship between the stakeholders of a project. The design approach has been to make use of whatever we have here and now, whatever we are able to collect directly from our surroundings, in order to respond to our needs while maintaining absolute self-efficiency. We are looking for local materials and local human energy, which can also be perceived as a local growing resource. Everybody needs to find purpose in works that's meaningful. Each person who's involved in the process of creating living spaces needs to understand the role they play in the life cycle of materials. We are also convinced that architecture has the unique ability to acknowledge the value of people. It can make people feel dignified and respected by bringing those whose the city cast out back to the forefront. So the way we see it, human labor and craftsman skills are also valuable local resources. Our aim is to show how reusing and biosourcing materials represents an amazing opportunity to create employment and to open local material channels so that we can generate empowering tasks for the worker while reducing our carbon footprint. This is why, in partnership with the City of Paris and many local craftsmen and women, we have created a training program for the social excluded to learn about the specific techniques of the circular economy. This program also calls architects, craftsmen, project managers, and clients to action in order to involve the whole chain of actors. The message we want to carry across to you tonight is that the stage of construction, the specific moment of assembling materials to create an efficient living space, offers fertile ground for an advanced form of coexistence to develop. In the end, building with the leftovers and scraps is an handsome way to create strong bonds. Thank you.
Clara, thank you very much for your amazing presentation. Are you with us?
Yes.
We enjoyed it and we wishing you best of luck. We are sending greetings to France.
Thank you.
Bonne nuit, to bola Clara Simay, ktorá nám prezentovala prácu štúdia Grand Huit.